Hey, my name's Sam Portland. You've got speed questions and I have got your answers. And today I've been asked a question: what is the difference or the benefit between speed training versus strength training for field sport athletes? It's a big question and it's one that I face a lot. And as a young athlete, I used to think that I needed to get stronger to improve my on-field performance, even when I was actually naturally quite fast. Guess what happened? I improved my strength, but my speed didn't go anywhere. And that happens a lot of the time. And there's a reason why this, and it's often massively mistaken in field sports, is that we think the early progress that we make from weight training attributes to all the other success that we get. So stay with me. Think about this for a second. Young athlete or a maturing athlete, gone into the gym, you started squatting, lifting weights, and you've seen the gradual progress. You've seen the improvements that you're making, and you feel quite strong, and you take that onto the field with you. You're stronger in contact, you are moving better, and maybe if you're not naturally that fast or you've never really done any speed work, you're going to improve. You're going to feel faster because you feel stronger in your body and more explosive by design, because you've taken the lowest common denominator or the lowest hanging fruit and just improved it. Now over time, what happens is something called diminishing returns. So the idea that you've been left with is that if I keep improving my strength, I'm going to keep improving my speed. And it couldn't be further from the truth. Actually, it goes up and then it comes down. There's an intersection point at which strength just stops being useful. And it happens a lot earlier than most people think, and that most information provides you as well. It's not your fault that you are struggling to answer this question. Culturally, in team sports, there's lots of gyms, especially my background in rugby. It's all about being bigger, stronger and faster, rather than faster, explosive and fitter. And those are the things that we need to really start to consider. So when we're looking at the role of some of the exercises that we do and the role of some of the training modalities that we use, we have to consider the purpose of that. What does this exercise allow me to do? Because one of the most important lessons that I want you to learn today is that your definition of strength is only defined by the number of repetitions at a certain weight that you can do on a bar. So that's the way that you're measuring strength. And so we're measuring the effectiveness of strength in one exercise to find performance in something else. This brings into the topic of what's known as specialization. And when we talk about specialization, I just need you to understand this from a general premise, is that if you want to keep improving your bench press, for example, or your back squat, you are eventually going to have to stop doing everything else and solely focus on becoming a powerlifter and a specialist in bench pressing and squatting. Just like exactly the same, if you were to try to keep improving your speed, you're going to have to stop playing football, rugby, American football, and solely become a sprinter, because the way in which you're measuring your speed or your strength is then determined by the outcome of which you assess it in. So that means you have to train it with that outcome in mind. So when we actually start to think about the role of strength in developing field sport athletes, it actually becomes a very simple pie chart. It only becomes about 20% of the problem and 20% of the needs, because let's argue 60% of the overall demand for a field sport athlete is training and playing games. That's a generous 60%. It could be a lot more. But then we then have to think about how we're recovering and thinking about then how we're preparing to handle the training of the sport. So anything that you do that's not on the field, that doesn't involve the sport's implements or the tasks of the sport, comes down to something called just preparation. So everything in this side is just purely preparation, which is allowing you to do the sport, train and practice the sport, so then you can go and perform and play the sport. Definitely in sports like rugby, American football, where with field strength is really a priority, we lose sight of that. and we sacrifice the role of preparation and performance for the development of our squatting ability. Many athletes make this mistake, and I don't want you to make it. And many coaches, especially speaking to coaches on this channel, if you're doing that, then you are doing a disservice to your athletes, and how you can better serve them is so important. So hopefully that helps today. And if you want to learn more about the SportSpeed system and how I develop explosive speed power for team sport athletes, comment system on this video and I'll send you a blueprint guide to my SportSpeed system that you can start applying straight away. And I look forward to hearing more from you. But if you've got questions, and you've watched this video, then please just stick them below as well, and I'll happily create a video to answer for you, because what we want to do is improve performance on field using speed as one of the most important qualities. So stick around, watch the next video, and I'll speak